The first time I heard the strange noises, I brushed them off as mere creaks and groans of an old house. After all, I had just moved into this charming, yet somewhat decrepit Victorian home. Little did I know that these seemingly innocent sounds would evolve into a haunting melody that would play with my sanity. The first night, it was a subtle scratching, like the claws of a phantom cat against the hardwood floor in the living room. I dismissed it as my imagination, my mind adjusting to the unfamiliar surroundings. But as the nights passed, the noises grew more distinct, more unsettling. One evening, as I lay in bed reading a book, the scratching intensified, accompanied by faint whispers that seemed to murmur indiscernible words. My curiosity got the better of me, and I cautiously made my way to the living room. The moment my foot crossed the threshold, the noises ceased. I surveyed the room, finding nothing out of the ordinary. The silence was almost deafening. I tried to convince myself it was the house settling, but deep down, a gnawing fear lingered. It wasn't until a few weeks later that I stumbled upon a chilling revelation. One lazy Sunday afternoon, I picked up a dusty newspaper that had been left in the attic. As I flipped through its yellowed pages, I froze upon reaching an article that sent shivers down my spine. The headline screamed, "Cold case haunts local community. Brutal murder remains unsolved." The article detailed a gruesome crime that had occurred right within the walls of my new home. A young woman, the previous occupant, had been brutally murdered in the very living room where I had heard the eerie noises. As my eyes scanned the words, a sense of dread settled over me. The murderer had never been caught, and the case had gone cold. A photo of the victim stared back at me, her eyes seemingly pleading for justice. The realization hit me like a wave. I was not alone in this house. Night after night, the haunting sounds returned with a vengeance. Whispers echoed through the halls, and shadows danced in the corners of my vision. The air in the living room grew heavy, charged with an energy I couldn't comprehend. I could feel a presence, a malevolent force that seemed to revel in my discomfort. One fateful night, as I lay in bed, paralyzed by fear, I sensed a shift in the atmosphere. The room grew colder, and a soft glow emanated from the corner. I held my breath as a figure materialized before me, the spirit of the murdered woman. Her eyes, filled with anguish, bore into mine, and a silent plea for help echoed in the room. Unable to speak, I watched in terror as the apparition gestured towards the door, urging me to leave. Every fiber of my being screamed at me to escape, to abandon the haunted abode that held the secrets of a heinous crime. The specter's movements became more frantic, warning me that my time was running out. Torn between reason and fear, I decided to confront the ghostly presence. "What do you want?" I stammered, my voice barely audible. The room seemed to vibrate with an otherworldly energy, and the temperature plummeted further. The spirit's features contorted in pain as she pointed to herself and then to me, a chilling realization washing over me. She believed the murderer was still within these walls, and I was the next target. The unsolved crime had trapped her soul, and she was desperate to prevent history from repeating itself. With newfound determination, I packed my belongings and fled the accursed house. The echoes of the ghostly warnings followed me as I stepped out into the cold night. As I turned to cast a final glance at the Victorian mansion, a shadowy figure materialized in the window, the murderer still lurking in the darkness. I never looked back, haunted by the knowledge that I had narrowly escaped a fate worse than the ghostly torment. The old Victorian home remained a silent witness to the unsolved crime, a house that concealed the chilling secrets of a past that refused to be forgotten. And as I left that chapter behind, I couldn't shake the feeling that the murderer, freed by my departure, lingered within those haunted halls, patiently waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to call it home.